Today, I am talking with Viv Kan, a mindfulness intimacy coach.
I'm also a mindfulness coach in the workplace, and I help people connect better in the bedroom and in the boardroom.
But not at the same time, right? Okay, good. So I wanted to ask Viv a few questions today about sexual intimacy, how that relates to masculinity, how that relates between men, women, partners of the same sex, because she is the expert. So I thought I'd pick her brain about what's going on. So, in my practice, I see a lot of men come in their very masculine form. They're protecting themselves with strength. They have to be the guy that has all the answers. They have to be the breadwinner. How does that type of vibe show up in the bedroom?
I think that it really depends on how people view masculinity, which is different from masculine energy. Because we have masculine and feminine energy despite our gender. And I think traditionally, if we think on superficial terms of what masculinity looks like and represents, it's more of the external physique, it is the physical strength, it is the stoicism, perhaps, maybe the lack of emotions. But actually, masculine energy can also be encompassing by our, or encompasses a lot of how in touch you are with yourself and how vulnerable you can be. And I'm sure you work with people who talk about maybe how they can be numb or blocked, or maybe they don't even realize that they're blocked from their emotions or
No,
their
for sure.
feelings,
Yeah.
right? And so I think we have to reframe this quote unquote masculine strength to more of what does masculine energy look and feel like, and how does it feel like in my body? So, for example, I see a lot of men feel that they're not good enough, that they don't make enough money,
Yep, I've heard it all.
they're not strong enough, or they don't have a six pack because they're working out next to a guy who's a Viking with an eight pack or a 12 pack. Or there's a level of success that they haven't reached and they compare themselves with other entrepreneurs or other people in their field. When we look at reframing what masculinity is to us or what masculine energy is to us, how that would show up in the bedroom, for example, is actually opening up to our partner and showing vulnerability. And vulnerability is intimacy. It's into me you see. It's
I
allowing
like that.
allowing the other person to see into your inner world. But traditional masculinity might teach us to numb that part of us.
It's more about having that wall up,
Having a wall up,
not
exactly.
showing who you really are, because you never know who's going to be out there to kind of attack you or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So there's this protective mechanism, there's this armor because we've been hurt before, we've been dumped before, we've been criticized before, we've been judged before. And that one thing that one ex partner said 10 years ago is still so ingrained in us that when we don't actually know how to be vulnerable, we show up in the bedroom with this armor, with this performance, with this, I need to be stronger, bigger. Another one is I'm not big enough. I don't last long enough, right? I'm coming too fast, too quickly. I'm not making my partner orgasm. There's a lot of this that shows up that a lot of people are putting on themselves. And I'm not saying only men do that. Of course, women do that as
Yeah,
well.
I think a lot of this comes out of media. What has the media taught us over the years that we've been alive? What have we seen within the movies and the magazines and porn, all of that? And I think that really tends to give people a different type of view on what is actual reality versus just one on one in the bedroom, having a good time, having fun, laughing, talking, saying, I like this. Can you do it a little bit that way? Can you do this a little bit more? A lot of people don't do that. They just do what they've seen, and they don't take the time to connect with their partner to see how we can make this better between us.
A lot of us only learn how to be intimate with someone physically, let's say, through pornography, through movies, through social media. Nobody shows you the vulnerable conversations and the sweatiness and the body hair and maybe sometimes the crying because you're feeling so touched and connected. And I think that by reframing masculinity and masculine energy, that would really help how we show up in the bedroom by releasing the armor and by opening the heart. I think this is also another thing I see in a lot of my male clients is they come with me with all these issues and all these problems, and I go, hey guy, I think you don't know how to open your heart. You don't know how to feel. They don't know how to feel love. They don't know how to receive love because they've been numbing and blocking and afraid of being hurt. For example, my partner, he is sensitive but strong. And actually, his sensitivity is his strength. And if he was not sensitive and vulnerable, I would not be attracted to him. Actually, that's one of the key things why I'm with him, is because he is not afraid to show his vulnerable side.
I think a lot of men have been taught not to be vulnerable from a young age. But in actuality, that's what a lot of women want. They want you to tell you what's going on. They want you to tell you what's painful, what's hurting. Are you having a terrible day at work? Let's really dig into that. It's not about making the money, feeding the kids, making sure everyone is taken care of, being the caretakers. It's if you are vulnerable, that is usually one of the largest things that turn women on.
I would say so. And I think part of the challenge is actually finding the balance and the dance between the masculine and the feminine. So knowing how to be vulnerable, being empathetic, knowing that emotions are not your weakness, and at the same time, knowing how to leading the relationship. You can also lead in the bedroom, but you don't always have to. It could be a balance. It's a dance. Not only do you lead, you can initiate, being proactive, understanding someone's needs, anticipating needs. This is one of the biggest turn-ons that people will tell me, especially moms, would be that my biggest turn-on that my partner can do is anticipating my needs. The moment she has to ask for something, it's already too late.
So anticipation, I hear a lot of men and also couples, they're saying, she expects me to read her mind. It sounds like almost what you're describing. I know anticipation is not necessarily reading their mind, but when you say anticipate, can you give me a concrete example? Because men, we love concrete examples. So what do you think?
That's a very good question. I think it comes down to attunement. Attunement means that you are sensitive and you are aware to the other person's energy, emotions, and needs in the current state. And I think a lot of us, because we're not present, we're not really attuned to their partner. So an example is, I have a few clients, when I ask them, what do you love that your partner does? They would be like, oh, when he brings me water, when he makes me coffee, when he does this without me asking, right? Yeah. And so then I have an example where this wife would have to ask to get her water bottle filled every day, even though they've been together for over 10 years.
Seems like he's just not listening. She's just not picking up on it.
Right. And that happens more than you think. That happens much more than you think. And let's say he gets the water, but it's not the water that she wants. She wants cold water, but he gets the lukewarm or the hot water for her. So it's about really understanding, not just like, okay, I'm going to do it for my partner because, okay, I'll just do it. But it's more so knowing that if I do this, she's just going to be happy. It's going to just make your life easier. So the step one in the manual is attunement, awareness, noticing. If there's something that your partner does every day, if you can take that one thing off of their mental load without them asking, that's already a win.
Men love to be amazing in bed. They want to talk about it with their guys. They want to talk about it with the girls. They want to talk about it with everyone. They want their wife to scream from the top of the rafters, husband's the best. Love all of it. But that also drives this idea that we have to be performers. We have to be the number one performer in bed. But in a long-term relationship, it's not necessarily about performance. It's really more about connection. What do you think men can do, or what is something that men could take away to move from this performance mindset to more of a connection mindset?
The thing is, with performance, the more you think about performance, the worse you'll perform.
Exactly. The more you think about anything, it's like, oh, that's a lot of erectile dysfunction. I mean, oh, I'm not going to get hard. I'm not going to get hard. Then you're not going to.
Exactly. So the mind tends to take over a lot in the bedroom. The thing is we need to shift that perspective, because studies show that when you survey women how they rate their sexual experience, it's not because they orgasm. It's actually based on how connected they feel to their partner. So based on that statistic, that survey of what women prioritize in terms of what they think great sex is to throw performance out the window. And also remove everything that you think you know about sex based on conventional sex.
Conventional sex as in?
What we see in media, what we see in pornography, what we see in movies. Basically, come with a blank slate. And the other thing is start with intention. The intention of, why am I having sex? Why am I here? If I want to perform, or if I want to ejaculate, or if I want to orgasm, or maybe I want to see her orgasm, you can also just do it yourself. True. She can also self-pleasure, right? It comes down to, what is your intention to have sex? And is it ego-driven? A lot of it could be ego-driven. When sex and intimacy comes from the ego instead of the heart.
That makes a lot of sense, because then you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for your partner. You're not doing it for connection.
Correct. Even though in your mind, you're thinking, well, I'm doing it for her because I'm trying to make her come. But no, you're trying to make her come because you want to feel good about yourself.
Yes, exactly.
So first is shifting that mindset to less performance-based and more about connecting from the heart, connecting from a place of love, connecting from a place of emotional connection. And also, I think we spend way too little time in sex. I think that people often rush. They are often very tired, as in, okay, it's before bedtime. We have 15 minutes. Let's do it.
Let's just get it over with.
Let's just get it over with.
Let everybody come. We can go to sleep. It's great.
Right, exactly. Or maintenance sex. We haven't had sex in 2 weeks, so let's just do it within the 15 minutes so that I can shut this person up, or so that we don't have to talk about the lack of sex we're having.
Yes, that intention definitely is not great energy brought into the relationship, I would imagine.
And also, I think when it's performance-based, it comes from energy of neediness. This energy of need, as in even a touch. When a person is being touched, as a woman, I can feel whether the person is touching me from a place of lack or scarcity mindset, or from a place of love and abundance mindset. I can also tell that the touch is coming from, okay, I am touching you because I want to get to an end goal of, the end goal could be penetration. The end goal could be some sort of skin to skin contact, nudity, nakedness. It could also be cuddling. Whatever it is, the end goal doesn't necessarily need to be an orgasm, but when your touch has a goal, that already turns us off. Because we feel that there's a sense of neediness. So when there's a need, sex becomes a chore. And when sex becomes a chore, it's not fun. It's way less enjoyable. And it's hard to connect because you're in your mind and you're like, okay, let's just do this because it'll make him happy. And then I can go to sleep and all that.
So to sum up, for men to go more to a connection mindset, it's about understanding your intent, what you're doing, why you are doing it, come from a place of love, come from the heart, not the ego. And I would like to add, come from a place of giving, trying to be there for someone, understanding what it is that they like, asking what they like, asking them what feels good, and not letting it hurt the ego when it's not necessarily what you're doing.
And another thing is, I find that with a lot of couples I work with, the men will do grand gestures, more of, I'm touching them and I'm gonna hug them and cuddle them because, yes, I want to show my affection, which then hopefully it can lead to sex. But then in between those moments, they're not grabbing her hand, they're not giving her the hugs and the kisses throughout the day, they're not doing the cuddles with unconditional love, no conditioned cuddles, no conditioned touch. So it's not so much the grand gestures before the sex or to the sex, it's those little tiny moments that really help us get more comfortable and safe in the dynamic so that we can relax in our nervous system.
As you might know, men are very practical. What is one small practice a couple can do on a day-to-day basis to rebuild that desire, to rebuild that emotional safety, so then the sex naturally gets better?
So I cannot take credit for this, what I'm about to say, but first, communication equals lubrication.
Yes.
Talking about the sex you want to have, even in a light way, it might not happen, right? But it could be on a date night. And first, are you having date nights? Or are you just going to work, taking care of the kids, coming home, being super tired, and then just inching towards your partner in the bed?
Just hoping something's going to happen.
And then start to hump and push your pelvis towards them and hoping something will happen. So first is communication equals lubrication, talking about the intimacy you want to have, not the intimacy you're not having. I find that when couples speak a lot, they talk about what they're not getting. So communicate, what is it that you want to explore? What do you want to experience more of? What are your fantasies? Maybe not even fantasies, but just desires. Speak about your desires without the fear of being judged. Because I think that's also a big one, is if I talk about what I want to experience with my partner, I'm afraid of being judged. There's a time and place for this, and you want to also make sure that both of you feel safe to communicate this. So that's number one, practical tool is talk about it. Communicate.
I think people should be talking about sex every day.
Yes, like you're talking about the weather.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about what you're having for dinner. Everyone's having sex, but nobody's talking about it.
That's a shame. I talk about it all the time.
Well, me and you are different. But I think it's healthy. It's very healthy. The second practical tool is eye gaze.
So just eye gazing.
Eye gazing.
That feels so strange. I've done it before. I don't know if I like it.
Tell me why.
I feel vulnerable. I don't want to feel vulnerable. That's why. That's it.
And this is the thing, we come back to vulnerability, is if you don't want to be vulnerable, come back to why don't I want to feel vulnerable? Because the key to intimacy is vulnerability, right? The eye gazing with no talking, no giggling, no little like hee hee. I do this with many couples. And when you are in a place of stillness and you allow yourself to be seen, or you are just seeing your partner, almost every time one person will cry. Almost every time. Because there's not many opportunities that two people get to sit down in silence and just be still and be fully seen by their partner. It's not about them doing anything. It's not about them performing. It's not about them getting to orgasm.
It takes the pressure off.
Yes, it takes the pressure off. And also, it calms your nervous system after you do it for a while and you get used to it, because you also want to focus on your breath as well. I think a lot of us don't breathe properly. We're in go mode. We're constantly doing, especially if you're living in a busy city. It's super simple. You can do this for 3 minutes. I would say that. Another practical tool is kiss.
Kissing. Well, that just sounds way too simple.
Way too simple. But
it does.
Do
right?
you
Yeah.
do you know how many couples I see, long-term couples, and I ask them, "Do you guys make out?" And they're like, "No." But do you used to? Yeah, we used to kiss a lot more. So one of the first things that go is kissing each other passionately for no reason.
That's the desire, that eye gazing, talking about the type of sex you want to have, breathing with your partner. That's what we want to bring back. We want to bring that desire back. Yeah.
Exactly. And the kissing, the Gottman Institute, which is the research institute that studies relationships, they said a 6-second kiss and an 8-second hug or a 10-second hug actually can help people live longer because you're helping them de-stress, reduce their cortisol. You're helping also increase the endorphins in the body as well. So it's actually good for your well-being. I mean, sex is good for your well-being, but even the precursor to sex, just kissing each other for no reason, not because you want to have sexy time. Okay. Okay. This coming back to the little things. It's always the in-between moments that really matter. And the hug, because we want to be embraced. We want to be held. And a lot of my clients who have kids, they hug their kids or their kids hug them in a way there is so much love. And then when they hug their spouse, it's just like, yeah,
see you later.
yeah. It's just like, okay, enjoy work, bye. Right? But with their kids, it's a whole different story because there's love. But where's the love when two people have been together for a long time? Where does it go? There's still love. It's just that maybe it's hidden somewhere and we just have to dig it up and bring it to the surface.
I've noticed, and even my long-term relationship and clients' long-term relationships, these are the things that go away, and it goes away pretty quickly. It's hard to get them back because what we've been taught is that it's just supposed to be natural. It's supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be happily ever after. But life isn't really like that. It actually takes work. And to paraphrase what you're saying, if you want that desire back, you have to work for it. That can be done in a few different ways. Having the conversation, talking to your partner about the sex that you want to have. You can increase intimacy, increase desire through eye gazing, through breathing together. And as you said, from kissing and hugging, but not just a little peck on the cheek or anything like that. That's boring. We already do that. But it's more about really getting in there.
Yes, coming from a place of love, not from a place of need.
Perfect. I think that's great. Thank you so much. That was Ask an Expert with Viv Kan, a mindfulness intimacy coach, but she also helps people in the boardroom and the bedroom, but not together. That would be an HR nightmare. So I want to thank Viv again for her insights. And Viv, where can people find you?
My Instagram is Mindful Intimacy, and my website is mindfulintimacy.co.
All right. Great. Thank you so much. So if you guys want to start having better sex, I'm sure you do. Everyone does. Check it out. All right. Thank you.